Hello everyone and welcome to my channel English with Annette. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Oh, and ring that bell to be notified of new videos. If you have a question or an idea for a video that you would like to see on this channel, please leave me a comment below. Do you like to be prepared? I certainly do. It helps to reduce stress and anxiety, especially when facing high-stakes situations, such as taking exams. But what is English 6 first of all? It's the English course which students take their second year of upper secondary school in Sweden. Alltså andra året på gymnasiet. In today's video, I'm going to show you the different parts the national exam in English 6 consists of. By the end of this video, you will be better prepared for your national exam. Furthermore, there is one big difference between the national exam for English 5 and this one for English 6, which I will come back to during this video. So stay with me and get ready for your national exam in English 6. I will give you important information on each part of the exam and provide you with an example or two. After each exam, I will give you an overview of the criteria for different grades to give you a better understanding of what is expected. The exam consists of 4 parts, and I will walk you through them all. The 4 parts are speaking, reading, listening, and writing. But first of all, you need to know what to bring to the exam, of course. A valid ID is a big must. Your teacher needs to verify that you are the one taking the exams. If you do not bring a valid ID, you will miss the opportunity of taking your exams. Pen and eraser is always useful for the prepared student. If you have a school laptop, you obviously need to bring it. If you don't, there are computers at the school. However, if you have your own personal laptop, you can bring it, which absolutely can save you energy at the exam. There is a video on how to prepare your computer for a writing exam using exam.net. Make sure to watch that. I will put a link in the description box below for you. If you prepare your computer, you will be able to get on with the exam faster, not to mention feeling less stress. You could bring a tablet and surfplatta as long as you prepare it in the same high security mode. So again, watch the video in the description box below. It's the same procedure. The video will walk you through the process. Now, over to the exam. So the exam consists of 4 parts, like I mentioned earlier: speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Number 1, speaking. Before the speaking exam, you will receive information about the theme and a brief introduction. This information will come from the school or from your teacher. This is how Skolverket describes the speaking exam. Delprovet består av 2 delar. I part 1 ska eleverna var och en presentera och informera om någon aspekt som relaterar till temat och sedan samtala om dessa. I part 2 ska eleverna utifrån en given modell utveckla, resonera kring och belysa olika aspekter av temat i en gemensam diskussion. What this means in part 1 is basically that the student will present and inform on a certain aspect or angle in relation to the theme and then talk about it with the other students. Just to be crystal clear, I'm going to give you an example. If the theme is living a good life, then the aspects of that theme could be health, social life, recreation, work, education, living in a big city or in the country. There are no right and wrong answers here, which is the case more often than not when taking the speaking exam, because it is about you speaking, not being an expert on a topic. And then, in part 2, the students will discuss the same theme and the different aspects. Now, about the preparation for speaking. As you can see here, you will have 15 minutes to prepare. Read the instructions for part 1 and part 2. Read and prepare part 1 individually. Part 1. Inform and discuss. Part 2. Discuss. First off, this is an example of a case story, a card, which you might receive. Here's a second example of such card. Which you will read and then inform the others about it, and then discuss it. Real quick, do you find this video useful? Is it informative? If you believe this video is helping you and preparing you better for the exams, I would really appreciate it if you would hit pause for a second and give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Now, let's continue. Here's an example so you know what this may look like on the exam. Stress. Preparation. You have received 1 out of 6 case stories. Prepare to tell your partner about it. Part 1. Inform and discuss. A. Tell your partner about your story. B. Then discuss it briefly with your partner. Who is the problem causing the stress situation? Where, when does the stress occur? How does it show? What could perhaps solve the problem in this particular case? Part 2. Discuss. Now discuss with your partner different aspects of stress. A. What causes stress in you or in other people? Choose 3 things each. And think about factors like tests, trouble at work, quarreling, rows, sleeping problems, noise, queuing, overcrowded trains or buses, traffic jams. B. How do our bodies react to stress? What are the effects on our daily lives? What do you think could be reactions to stress? Headaches, irritability, anxiety, sleeplessness? C. How do you or other people normally handle stress? What do you think are the most common ways of coping with stress? Listening to music, talking to a friend, drinking or smoking, getting exercise, or trying to forget about it? D. Stress is not only a problem for the individual. What can society do to help? What can be done by schools, employers, or the government? I'd like to point out to you that the words that you see in the bullet points, in the blue bullet points, they are ideas or inspiration or suggestions. You do not need to go through them all. They are more there for your inspiration, so to speak. So don't worry if time runs out or flies for you. Well, actually that's a good thing, because that means you are busy discussing something. Jag vill bara poängtera det här även på svenska då, att de här orden som ni ser i de blå punkterna, de är där för att hjälpa er sätta igång diskussionen, hålla den flytande. Det är alltså inte nödvändigt att gå igenom varenda blå punkt. Hinner ni inte igenom dem så behöver ni absolut inte bekymra er över det. Det viktiga är att ni pratar och att ni har en bra diskussion. Remember this. Tänk på det här. Ta initiativ, interagera och för samtalet vidare. Det betyder hjälp varandra att hålla igång samtalet och ge varandra ungefär lika mycket utrymme. Take initiative, interact and keep the conversation going. Simply put, help each other out and keep the conversation going and give each other room to speak. In other words, ask each other questions, help each other out when someone has a hard time speaking. Remember, everyone is nervous about this. Involve each other in the conversation. Help each other feel more comfortable. Your teacher will not only listen to you speaking, your teacher is also looking for your ability to communicate with others and interact. Läraren kommer inte bara fokusera på att lyssna på dig när du pratar. Läraren vill också se hur du interagerar med andra. Alltså inte bara hur du pratar, utan också att du är delaktig i konversationen. Now, about the grades. First, there is an overview in Swedish, followed by one in English. Som du kanske ser här så går det exempelvis från att eleven formulerar sig med viss variation till varierat i de högre betygen. Och för A har man också lagt till nyanserat. Det handlar alltså om hur pass säker den som talar engelska är. För att uppnå A och kriteriet nyanserat så behöver eleven ha ett brett ordförråd och kunna använda olika uttryck. För ett E behöver eleven, som ni ser, kunna tala engelska tydligt och med flyt. Pausa om du vill titta närmare på den här matrisen. Note that it starts off with relatively varied, clear and relatively structured. However, for the higher grades, students need to be able to express themselves in ways that are varied, balanced, clear and structured. Also note that it says with fluency for an E, not some fluency. With fluency. This means that the student needs to have a certain flow when speaking English. Hit pause if you want to read this more carefully. When you're ready, please join me for the introduction of the second exam. By the way, do you find this video useful? If you do, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on new videos. I will give you a second to do just that. Thank you. So, the second part of your national exam, reading. You will have 90 minutes and you will be given a booklet, ett häfte, and make sure to read the instructions carefully. Läs instruktionerna noggrant. And also remember to always reply in English. Det är också mycket viktigt att du hela tiden svarar på engelska. The reading exam will consist of different parts. Here's an example so you know what this may look like on the exam. Läsförståelsedelen består av flera delar. Här är ett första exempel. One word gaps. In the following sentences there are gaps. Each gap should be filled with one word. The word should make sense in the context and fit in grammatically. Remember to check your spelling. I will give you an example. Look at number 5, for instance. The service at the store was bad, so we wrote a letter of to the management. What do you think would be the word there? Well, it's complaint. Number 6. Many people avoid saving money in banks because of the low rate of interest. 7. The manager said he won't employ me because I experience lack. Then there might be another part of the reading exam which may look something like this. The rhino's last stand. Read the following text where a number of words are missing. Write one word in each gap. The word should make sense in the context and fit in grammatically. Remember to check your spelling. In a newspaper article, a journalist who visited Kaziranga National Park in northern India describes a meeting with a white rhino and goes on to tell us how the existence of these animals is threatened by poachers, i.e., people who illegally kill the animals to make a profit from their horns. Together with forest ranger Pankaj Sharma, I visited the Kaziranga National Park. We went out in a jeep to for rhinos. Possible words here are search, look, watch, wait. Let's take a look at number 6. From the front, it is a matter. Accepted answers here are different, serious. Here is another example of a task you should be prepared for when it comes to the reading exam. Australian heritage. Read the following 2 texts about convict ancestors in Australia. Answer the questions that follow, either by writing a few words or by choosing the best alternative, A, B, C, or D. Base your answers on the information in the text. I will now give you a moment to look at this part of the exam more carefully. And here is the part where you write your answers, either by writing a few words or by choosing the best alternative, A, B, C, or D. And remember, base your answer on the information in the text. Here is the last example of the reading exam. Mini-texts 1. Read the texts below and answer the questions that follow by choosing the best alternative, A, B, C, or D. Write your answers in the boxes. Now, about the grades. This is an overview both in English and in Swedish. As you may notice here, the wording is slightly different for the different grades. It says basic details for an E, essential details for a C. However, for an A, it simply says details, meaning if not all, then absolutely the majority of the details. Som du kanske ser här så syns en förändring i ordvalet från tydliga detaljer för ett E till väsentliga detaljer för ett C. Och slutligen bara ordet detaljer, med andra ord alla detaljer, eller åtminstone majoriteten av dem, för ett A. Hit pause if you want to read this more carefully. When you're ready, join me for the introduction of the third exam, which is listening. You will have 50 minutes for this exam. Make sure to read the instructions carefully. Läs instruktionerna mycket noggrant. Listen attentively. Lyssna uppmärksamt. And reply in English all the time. Och kom ihåg att svara hela tiden på engelska. Here is the first example. News items 1. You are going to hear 8 news items. They will be read once only. After each news item, there will be a pause for you to answer the questions by writing one of the letters A, B, C, or D in the boxes on your answer sheet. After writing your answer, you may also like to look at the question which follows. When you hear a soft sound, go on to the next question. I will now give you a moment to look at this part of the listening exam. If you would like to listen to the recording for news items 1, I will put a link to it in the description box below for you. To show you a second example of what the listening exam may look like, I'm using one from English 5, as there is no example of this type for English 6. However, the only difference is that the text is a little bit more advanced, but the format, the kind of exam, looks like this one, rock climber. So again, this is a good example for you to be prepared for the listening exam. Rock climber. You're going to listen to 3 parts of an interview with Dalvi Singh, a rock climber who lives in Yorkshire. There will be a pause after each part when you can answer the questions. Answer the questions either by writing a few words or by marking the best alternative, A, B, C, or D, in the boxes. You can take notes in the margin while you listen. Base your answers on the information in the program. You will hear the program only once, so listen carefully. At the end, you will have 1 minute to check all your answers. If you would like to listen to the recording Rock Climber, this is what it looks like, and I will put a link to it in the description box below. Now, about the grades. This is an overview both in English and in Swedish. This is the same overview for reading, which is why I'm only commenting on this in English this time. As you may notice here, the wording is slightly different for the different grades. It says basic details for an E, essential details for a C. However, for an A, it simply says details, meaning if not all, then absolutely the majority of the details. Before we move on to the fourth and final part of the national exam, I will also reveal the big difference between the national exams in English 5 and English 6. I would like to ask you, if you find this video useful, I would be really grateful if you would take a second and hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment, and share the video with a family member or a friend, anyone who you think would benefit from this video. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. You're the best. Now it's time for the final part of your exam, writing. This is where the big difference between the national exam in English 5 and English 6 is revealed. In English 6, students are allowed, and actually recommended, to read a preparation material, which is a booklet, ett häfte, with different kinds of texts. These texts will have a common theme. It will be the same theme on the writing exam. However, you will not be able to use the booklet, the preparation material, during the exam. The booklet will help you see different aspects or angles of the theme, and this will help you in your writing. So, about the preparation material. You pick it up at the school and you read it at home. There will be a preparation lesson before the exam, because you will not have access to the preparation material during the exam, which I mentioned earlier. For the writing exam, you will have 100 minutes. Provet kommer alltså skrivas på dator eller möjligen på en surfplatta, så länge du har förberett den i high security mode, vilket jag nämnde tidigare. Du kommer inte ha tillgång till varken grammatik eller rättstavningsprogram. Du kommer inte ha tillgång till någon ordlista. Och du kommer inte ha tillgång till preparation material under provet, alltså förberedelsematerialet. The exam will be written on a computer or a tablet, which I mentioned earlier, but you need to prepare it in the high security mode. You will not have access to an app that checks grammar, spelling, punctuation, or other issues. You will not have access to a dictionary, and you will not have access to the preparation material during the exam. As I mentioned, you will not have access to an app that checks grammar, spelling, or anything else for you. And I've noticed a very common mistake in writing, which is why you need to watch the video how and when to use capital letters in English. Använda stor bokstav i engelska. I made the video as students make these mistakes all the time. However, you're in it to win it, right? It's pretty easy to avoid. So the good news is you can get it right by watching the video. Make sure to do that. I will put a link in the description box below for you. About the preparation material, förberedelsematerialet. You will have a theme. Let's call it theme X. And you will have points to consider while reading the texts on the theme X and to get the discussion in class going. Below you will find a list of questions. These points to consider while reading the texts in the booklet, förberedelsematerialet, are there to help you start thinking about the theme from different perspectives or angles. Off the top of my head, I'm giving you an example which I hope will illustrate this task. Let's say the theme is true love. Then the booklet would consist of several texts, could be magazine articles, short stories, or perhaps even poems. But they will all be related to true love in one way or another. What does true love mean exactly? Could it be having a safe, peaceful marriage without passion? Could it be having one passionate relationship? Could it simply mean having your family around you? True love can mean different things to different people and cultures for that matter. Do you see where I'm going with this? The booklet preparation material is there to help you get your own ideas flowing with the help of the texts. The texts are also there to give you different ideas and perspectives on the theme, which will help you to consider, for example, true love from different angles or aspects. What is important when it comes to true love? Would those points be the same for everyone around the world? Regardless of theme, remember to find where it, for instance, is something positive and good, and where it can end up being something bad or even negative. Basically, be prepared to view the theme from different perspectives and add your own opinions. I hope this part feels more clear to you now about the preparation material as we move on to the actual writing exam and what that might look like. Just to be clear, you will not do the writing exam on the basis of just one of the texts in the preparation material. Again, the texts in the preparation material are all there for inspiration and to help you get your ideas flowing, which will be very useful when you're actually writing your exam. Speaking of, let's get into it. Here's an example of the writing exam. What's important here is that you have 100 minutes to write your text, and you need to write at least 300, but not more than 600 words. Also, make sure you have time to check what you have written before submitting it. I'd like to draw your attention to that it says, support your discussion by giving examples from the text you have read and/or from your own experience. So, of course, it's the preparation material they are referring to. When it says you may wish to consider some of the following questions, that does not mean that you need to consider all of them. Just making sure you know that. Again, make sure you read the instructions carefully. Here it says, write your contribution taking a stand on one of the issues below. Again, you do not need to use all of them. The quotations here are for your inspiration. You do not have to refer to them in your text, unless it says so. So again, make sure you read the instructions carefully. Now, about the grades. First, there is an overview in Swedish, followed by one in English. Hit pause if you want to read this more carefully. Notera gärna hur man har ändrat formuleringen för exempelvis betyget E. Så står det med viss variation, tydligt och relativt strukturerat. Medan på A så har man ändrat det till varierat, nyanserat, tydligt och strukturerat. Det är sådana nyansskillnader, så kika gärna lite närmare på det här. Please note the wording for the grade E, where it says relatively varied, clear, and relatively structured, as opposed to A, where it says in ways that are varied, balanced, clear, and structured. Please hit pause and read this more carefully if you need to. From the bottom of my heart, wishing you great success in your upcoming exams. You're in it to win it, right? Did I upload a useful video for you? If I did, please leave me a comment below and hit that subscribe button. And yes, remember to ring the bell so I can notify you when I've uploaded a new video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.